Right, it's about time. Let's put these two together. Which is better? Autel versus Launch. Right, there is not too many YouTubers out there that will give you an honest review because a lot of them are afraid of pissing off a company so they don't get free stuff again. Where I'm not. Doesn't matter which company sends me stuff. If it's not good, it's not good. And I'm going to tell you it's not good. So this is going to be an honest review. Hello and welcome to another Budget and Leggit video. Now, it's the question I always get asked, which is the best scan tool and can you put this one up against this one, for example? Right, and I've never been able to do it because it's unfair to say put a £500 scan tool up against a £5,000 scan tool. It's just not fair in the scan tool. You can't really compare them. The £5 one, I'm not saying it's worth £5, but I guarantee it's going to do a lot more, so you can't compare them. These two, on the other hand, they are practically the same. Well, they're the same size screen. Now they look different, so you know you can make the decision which one looks better, because at the end of the day, you know, I buy tools because they look nicer than another one. So you know, it is a thing. But as screen size goes, they're exactly the same. They're both touchscreen, and the software is practically the same. They both do the same thing, all the special functions they both do. So as regards software side of things, there is no real difference, but it's how the software is used inside it that personally I think is a huge difference. And I'll show you later on in the video which one I think uses the software interface better. Now, this one's a lot older, so this one's not up to date. So if you get one of these, for example, you might have a slightly different you know, face on it because this one's not up to date, where this one is up to date. And there was a few things in my last video that I said, and someone, well, that looks like a 5.5mm jack, that's not a big deal to get, because I said I don't like the fact that it's not a USB charger. Now, as you all know, by having phones for so many years, you break chargers and you lose chargers. You can practically go to any single petrol station, any single shop, any single supermarket, and you can get USB chargers, and they're easy to get. Honestly, how many times have you seen in a shop to get the jack, the 5.5mm or 3.5mm, 5.5mm jack? How many times? Let's be honest. Very, very rare. So the time you do break it, or you need to transfer stuff on your computer, because it does charge through the OBD too, so you don't need it for charging, but you need it for transferring stuff. It's just more annoying. I don't care what anyone says, it's just more annoying. Yes, you might be able to find it in shops. 99.9% of shops you'll find this charger, and I'm maybe guessing 30% of shops you'll find this charger. That's a big thing, and that's a thing to consider when you are buying something. As regards the price, from when I checked, this one is cheaper by a good bit compared to this one. But the biggest thing straight away for me is the fact that this is wireless. This is a wireless one, this is wired, and this one's more expensive. So that there is a big thing for me. Might not be a big deal for you, but it's a big deal for me, because when you are trying to do something, you plug the dongle in and you need to take the tool to the engine because you're maybe testing sensors, or you maybe unplugged the sensor, or you may be revving it up, you may be squirting some, you know, brake cleaner to do something. You can see the live readings. With this lead, it is just not long enough to do that. And again, people are telling me, well, that's a stupid reason, you know, that doesn't make, well, to me it's a big massive reason where already this is a point up, because it has wireless. So we'll bang the score up here. Again, personal preference, but on the face of it, this one's cheaper, same size screen, same software, but it's wireless. So already there's a difference. This one does not have expandable memory. Again, for me, that is a big deal. This one has expandable memory. So there we go. Another point to Autel. Not only that, as you can see, there is no outs on this. This one has, if you want to put it to a bigger screen, it has HDMI out. So if you've got a big tool cart and you want a big huge screen, you can put it to a big screen. Another point to the Autel. I haven't even switched these on yet, and we're 3 points up. Also has a USB, so that's another thing this doesn't have. So without even switching these on, bang, 4 points already to the Autel. Like I said, I'm not going to be plugging these into all different vehicles because the software is practically the same. It really is. We'll switch them on and I'll show you the interfaces, and you'll see from the previous video that I did on this that this has, and I did say I actually kind of like it. It has an automatic feature where as soon as you, now I've turned it off, but as soon as you turn it on, it will automatically detect the vehicle and it looks like a fruit machine rolling up. And on the car I was testing on, actually this van here, at first it automatically recognized it, and then it wouldn't automatically recognize the same vehicle again. It just refused. I had to do it manually, which I didn't like. So yeah, let me turn these on and I'll show you exactly what they look like. Right, I turned them on at exactly the same time, and we'll just see for shits and giggles which, well, there you go, look, already bang, it's loaded. The internal specs on this, again, from what I researched, was faster than this. You might have a slightly different interface now, because I don't know, maybe they've updated it, so you know, I just don't know. But from the software version I've got, this is what it looks like. So again, I know this is not a big deal, but this one loads quicker and has slightly, well, it has better internals processing powers than this one, because you can see it loaded quicker. So again, it's another tick for the Autel. Now the interfaces, they are different, and again, it just depends what you're used to, I suppose. I can't really say one is worse than the other or one is better than the other, because to be honest, the interfaces, they're both exactly the same. You know, you go to diagnostics there, you go to diagnostics there, you know, they're both exactly the same. The Autel does seem to be a little bit smoother when I go into something, so it just seems to be. So we'll go to, I think it's in resets, and then you can see again the layouts is different. I prefer the pictures, that's just personal preference, rather than the words here. So you can see, like, you know, clocks, odometers, and it says odometers and clocks, where here it won't. Again, that's just a personal preference. Maybe you can set that in the software. I actually don't know. It's not really a big deal. It's just personal preference. But as regards that, they both do. Oh, actually, hold on. No, this one does more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Well, it seems to do more, which again, I actually thought, to be honest, they were both the same as regards what they could do. I can't move that anywhere. So yes, the Autel does more as regards a service function, so another tick for the Autel. And again, when you consider it's cheaper, you know, it is what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test on a different vehicle. What other menus do we have here? Oh, that's just, yeah, that's nothing. And because personally, again, this is just a personal preference, I prefer the way the Autel is set up. Whenever you do diagnostics, automatic at the top of the screen, you have the battery data, or the battery voltage always there. Because I've said on loads of my videos, the battery voltage is so important, because it could be making it, you could just have a bad battery and you're replacing sensors just because it's a bad battery. Where this, you can go into this battery voltage here, but you also have to go into a data PID. It does have the data PID, but it doesn't show you it constantly. And that little battery voltage thing at the top, believe me, it can save you a fortune. So that has to be another tick for the Autel. It's not looking good here for the launch now, is it? So, and I believe, again, I haven't checked that, but I believe they're more or less the same price to update. There's nothing really in it from what I could see. So as regards the updates, practically the same. But I just prefer the battery thing at the top, and I also, well, it does more, which is obviously a good thing as well. And when we go into live data, which I will show you, so you go into here, and again, this is just a personal preference, but they're not allowed, and I said this in an old video ages ago, they're not allowed to actually put the like the Ford badge and the Nissan badge anymore. So they're practically the same, the way they're, you know, Dodge and Fiat, you know, they're practically the same as that. That's just personal preference. But when I plug it in, I'll show you why I prefer the data that's actually on this. Just because the way it loads, when you have too many on, so you have to flip from one page to another, and that can take a few seconds. Now if you've only got a couple of data PIDs up, that's fair enough. But if you've got more than whatever it can take on the screen, 6 or 7, I can't remember exactly, maybe it's a bit more, you have to flick between one page to another, and you can miss data, where the Autel is a scroll up and down, and it's just smoother transition for the data. Again, it's personal preference, but I think that's another tick for the Autel. I'm trying to get a tick for the launch, come on, let me give you a tick. Now they both kind of feel the same weight. They both, to be honest, feel like well made. They don't feel cheap. None of them really feel cheap, you know. Why has that gone off? Why have you gone off? What the hell? Why have you gone off? Have you gone off? No. Let me... No, I can't think of a tick for it. A point. We have to get a point for the launch, because I mean, it can't be a whitewash. Let me think. Right, I can't think of anything at the minute. I'm trying. Another thing I like about this is when you completely go out, you can get to the main menu. Just ignore that there. Actually, look what I've done. That's very naughty. That is for another video, okay? Can't explain that yet. But yes, look what I managed to do. But anyway, another video, people. Now you can go on the internet with this as well. But this one, I think you can browse the internet, and I think you might be able to put like YouTube and stuff on it. Now, to be honest, it's not going to be really powerful to use as a tablet. None of them really are. They would be fairly slow in that regards, but you just have the menu system there. So yeah, right, I'm gonna have to think of a point for the good old launch. I think also, I could be wrong, but I think when I was looking at them, I think you can get a wireless version of this. It's more expensive, which makes it a hell of a lot more expensive than this, but I could be wrong. But I think there is a wireless unit, but don't quote me on that. I just saw one with like a dongle type thing, and I'm just presuming it's a wireless unit, but maybe it isn't. I don't know. Right, so I'm going to plug this into a vehicle. I'm going to show you what I mean about the way the software is done, and then you can make up your own decisions. All the launch fanboys can also tell me why I'm completely wrong in this video. But if they can honestly 100% justify a machine that's more expensive, it's not wireless, it doesn't have all the outs that this does, it's not expandable memory, and it's more expensive. Did I mention that it's more expensive and it's not wireless? If you can justify this one, please, by all means, write a comment, do your own video on YouTube. You can put my name in the title and tell me what I'm doing wrong. If you can honestly justify it, then let me know. And just before anyone says, oh look, you're shitting on launch for whatever reason, you will see in a lot of my videos, and I mean a hell of a lot of my videos, this little launch diag gun is fantastic. Absolutely fan-bloody-tastic. For the price of it, it's brilliant, but it's twice as expensive as this, I believe. So, you know, I'm not shitting on launch. It's just the ones that I have shitted on, for example, they were, well, they deserved. They were terrible. And again, I don't understand why people are kind of getting at me, because if I was to tell you something, anything, doesn't matter what it is good, and you go out and buy it on the strength of that, especially this sort of money. Now, if it was $5 or $10 or $5 or whatever it is, you could say, okay, fair enough, you'll take the risk. But when it's hundreds of pounds, you're not going to be happy. But yet then you're the same person that's saying I shouldn't have said what I said. So I can't win. I'm just giving you my honest review, my honest opinion on what I think, especially between the two, because they're the same price, or the same size screen. Well, not the same price, this one's slightly cheaper, but they're in the same range, if that makes sense. You know, so yeah, I can't. I would sooner be honest than someone go out and buy this, especially the other one I did. The first ever time I updated it, it didn't have enough room in it to do all the updates. And it was just a little bit cheaper than this one. And launch actually said to me, well, just download the one car you need. And I'm like, why would you spend 300 odd quid on a scan tool that supposedly does all the cars just for one car? You can buy the little dongles online for 3 and 4 quid that just does one car. Why go and spend hundreds of pounds if you just want one car? They bought that tool because it supposedly does all of them, but yet it only had, was it 4 gigs of memory in it or something, and you couldn't expand it. So at least Autel give you the option to expand it if you wanted to. So once I get these plugged into a car, you'll see the you will see it. You can make up your own mind then if you want to get something like this. But let's face it, there's not many reviews out there on scan tools that are honest, because a lot of YouTubers get them for free. And yes, I got this one for free. Yes, I got this one for free. I didn't get this one for free. Autel didn't send me this one. So I'm just being honest. And yes, I have absolutely completely pissed off launch, and to the point where they're basically not talking to me. But I don't care, because in my opinion, when you compare it to a similar product, it doesn't stack up. So, you know, I'm just giving you my honest opinion. If you don't like my honest opinion, there's a little button down there that says call my mummy. So you press that and you call your mummy so you can suck your thumb and cuddle her. Okay, that's what you need to do. Right, I just thought of a point for the launch. Remember my previous video when it does an auto scan and it's like, it looks like a kind of a one-man bandit machine, like a fruit machine. Yeah, so a point for launch.
Hey, hold on.
Oh no, wait, it doesn't work all the time. Fuck. I'll think of one. Even if I have to make up one, I'll think of one. You're gonna get a point, mate. You are gonna get a point, all right? But like I said, this is not going to be going through all the features. This is just going to be going through a few things I have noticed, and my personal preferences basically. Like I said, they're practically, as regards the scan tool, they're practically the same, but obviously this one does a few more service items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all this. I'm not going to cut anything out of it, because I'm going to show you basically, you know, how long each of them take essentially. So what we need to do is, this is a Ford, and again, you can, you know, count yourself how long it takes, which one is faster, if that, you know, is anything good for you. So just go read. It should automatically get the VIN. This is 2009 Ford Focus. That is just doing a few things because the scan tool is reading the VIN, and it is, to be honest, it's actually taking its time. Right, maybe because I've got it on, so we'll go back and we'll say read. Maybe because the ignition was on. Why is the camera doing that? Wow. No. Right. It hasn't done it. And I haven't heard the little dongle beep. Hold on. Is it actually? We'll just go okay. Oh no, so we'll go back. I haven't heard the dongle beep. That's not the dongle beeping. Now, maybe the car I'm actually connecting to has an issue with the OBD2 port. We'll just let it do a full scan. I'll fast forward the video. Or should I just actually leave it so we know which one kind of does it faster, but it might be a bit boring. But I'll leave it. Right, so it didn't auto read it, which is, I must admit, unusual. But not actually worried about that at the minute. I'm not worried about the error codes that are coming up. I just want to show you. See, this is the thing I was talking about. Look at that battery voltage. That battery voltage is constantly there no matter what. That's what I really, really like about this. That battery, because that is so important. It's the most important data PID you can ever have is your battery, because that can cause all sorts of issues if it's not, if it's too low or even too high. And when you start the car, it gives you a little good indication too, is the alternator and the charging system working well. It just gives you, and it's always there. That's like I said, it's always there. So we're 68% through now. Hopefully it won't take too much longer. Then we'll get the launch out. If the launch auto detects it, hey, we can get a point for the launch. Hopefully it does, because I think the launch, bless him, he needs a point. Normally, to be fair, the auto does do it as well. But anyway, so we're close now. But what I like, what I prefer about this is the battery voltage at the top, and the way that the data. So we'll just, again, I'm just going to go straight to live data. What the launch does is automatically gives you all the data PIDs it has on the vehicle. Now, yes, the more data PIDs you have open, the slower they're going to be to react. But they're all there. So if you want to just have a quick run through of all of them, as you can see, they're all here. Right, and yes, the more data PIDs you have, when you scroll up, it does take a second or so, but they're still there. So if I scroll back, look, everything is still there. So what you do then is you select a load. So we'll just select a few. Hopefully it goes past the first screen. So if I just go show, right, so I've selected all them, but you can see, look, it's just on one screen. That's what I like about it. The less data PIDs you have, the faster they react, and that's kind of, doesn't matter if you even spend 10 grand on a scan tool, it's still going to be slow to react. So that's what I like about it. You can easily and quickly flip between the two, up and down, and all your data is there. Yes, when you've only got 2 or 3, it doesn't make a difference. But when you've got more than one page, it kind of does make a difference. Then when you initially put the live data on, like I said, all the data comes up on one screen, but it is very slow. Where the other one, well, I'll show you the other one, but that I just prefer that. Now, again, that's just personal preference. You know, completely personal preference, but I just kind of prefer that myself. So let's get the launch now in and see if we can get a point for that. I think I've maybe got a point for the launch, but it's a bit controversial. And the reason is because obviously when I plug it in, it's charging the battery, where that isn't charging the battery. The wired connection is charging the battery, but then that means it's a wired connection, which I lost at a point for being a wired connection compared to the wireless connection. So I'm kind of torn with that one. But again, with that one, you can still plug it in and use it at the same time, so it's not the end of the world. Let's just turn off that light to stop the glare. Now, this is going to be interesting. So, now I've turned off this automatic detect, but if you don't, as soon as you plug the vehicle in, it automatically goes into auto detect. And I actually I know when I showed it in the first video ages ago, and people saying they didn't like the kind of the fruit machine kind of look, and I personally did. I thought it was all right. It's kind of cool. This now, can this auto detect? If you do, mate, you get a point. It's not looking good. They normally do it by now. So maybe this particular car just doesn't have the auto detect function, which is possible. Yeah, okay, so none of them auto detected. Okay, fair enough. Not the end of the world, but it is, it's just easier. But it's not the end of the world, to be honest. And even sometimes when they do auto detect, they don't actually auto detect properly. So you always kind of have to check it. But look, it's not really a problem. Oh, actually, I know it's gonna. Oh, actually, okay. Well, yeah. Look, that gets a point. That, to be honest, that was a bit easier to get into the system of the car. I didn't have to kind of press all the buttons. Was it built? Well, I can't. Before I say that, let me just make sure I don't. But if I don't, oh, okay. I was just about to give you a point, and you've done this to me. You've just lost yourself a point. Oh. Oh, shame. Shame. We'll let it go through its auto scan again. Now, I didn't actually remember how many fault codes. It would have been interesting to see. I'm sure you can go back on the video and tell me if one of them or both of them were the same as the error codes. I remember there was one in the instrument cluster which it definitely got. But to be fair, I think this is faster. Again, you can go back, but I think this is faster. Now, so that's a point. Well, I don't know. I think it's faster. What I do like compared to the Autel is on this, look, when it does an auto scan, it actually tells you the error code straight away. It doesn't just say one error code or three error codes. It actually tells you what the message is. So that's a definite point to the launch. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can't believe I just said that. A definite point to the launch, that, because I prefer that. So when you go through all the modules, you can quickly see without having to click into each individual module. So point to launch, well done on that. I do like that. We can just go to the engine. So you got a point, possibly maybe two, because I think it was slightly faster. But then again, this is fully updated where that one isn't, so it could be the firmware. Look, you've definitely got a point, okay? Definitely got a point. So what I want to do is go to live data. Now, I should have maybe have seen how many data PIDs have all got. Now, this one's got 63 data PIDs, but as you can see now, there is nothing showing. I have to physically do the data PIDs, but you can see, so what we'll do is we'll just, see it has battery voltage, it does have it, it just doesn't show it like the other one. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna select a few of them. I'm not worried about the refresh rate, so because I've selected more than the other one, so if this one's slightly slower to refresh, That's just because I've selected more, so I'm not worried about that. But what I am, I was not worried, but it's what I don't like. You see, it says what here, down here, 1 of 2, so it's telling me there's 2 pages. But look, I just wow, what a fuck up. I'm gonna leave that in because it shows the video is honest. That my diag gun, right, and every other launch I've ever used, you have pages and you have to flick between the pages, right? And I just don't like it. I don't like that about the diag gun. I should have checked this one. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, as it turns out, that is exactly the same, but this doesn't have the battery voltage shown like the other one does. But I prefer the way the launch sets up the error codes at the beginning or after the health report, and now this is actually the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my diag gun out just to show you what I mean, in case you're not quite sure what I mean. But oh, what? Oh, I went. Hey, what? What did I do there? Oh, hold on. Ah, right. I was right. Right. I was right. Oh, I just assumed. Right. Oh, launch. I'm sorry. Oh, you can't have that now either. I just assumed I only had that many on it. But look, what you have to do is you have to physically flip up. And this is where it becomes an issue now, because you can't flip between the two quickly enough. You see that? I have to, look, it says please wait, and then bang. Oh, launch, you're lucky that unlucky that I just did that, because I was just... So look, that's what I don't like about it. My diag gun is slightly different. You have to flick the page across this way and it goes through the different pages. But that's just what I don't like about it. Look how long that takes. It's a couple of seconds to flick between the two. And if you need to see the other one, you're like, oh, what did the car just miss? What happened there? And, you know, I just don't like that. I just don't like that. But I do prefer the way you put the error codes up at the beginning. So... like I said, I'm not going to go through absolutely everything because, you know, there's just too many vehicles, too many stuff. But yes, I do like that launch. I do actually prefer that compared to the Autel. It's just easier rather than going through every single... Now, you still have to go through the modules, but for example, the reason why this is really good, let's say someone's changed a battery, or let's say the battery was low or something stupid, and you're getting loads, and especially in some of the Volkswagen and the VAG stuff, you're getting a load of low battery fault codes. They're not a big deal. You can just delete them. You don't have to go into each one and think, oh, what was that? What was this? What was that? It's just a bit better in my opinion. So, you know, you can kind of see without having to go into them, and you can kind of see, is it an old fault? Well, not so much an old fault, but is it just a stupid fault that, you know, someone's, the car just got balloted and the seats got taken out. So, it, you know, and they turned the ignition on with the seats out, so the airbag lights on and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's why I actually do prefer that. But you can see, hopefully you can see what I meant about the live data. So if we go back out of this is their version of the battery. Now it's handy, don't get me wrong, you know, it's nice to see it, but you can't use it if you're using live data because it's in a separate thing. So if I just start the car now, you can see it dropped. Now again, you know, you can see, did it go below 9.5 volts? Then, you know, you maybe got a dodgy battery. Is it going up nice and smoothly? Is it dropping out? So it's a nice thing to see, but it's in a separate, unfortunately, it's in a separate part of the car. The Auto will do that, but it just has the live reading at the top at all times, which, like I said, I just prefer. But again, it's all down to kind of preferences, what you're used to and stuff. But hopefully now in the video, you'll see what I mean about the two. Look, it's an honest review. I have absolutely pissed off launch in the past, just because of the kind of the the more DIY ones, they're just not very good in my opinion compared to the DIY ones from other brands. But like I said, the new launch one does look good. The new Autel Pro actually looks amazing. So, you know, if they send me them, we can put them together too. But I don't think launch is going to send me the new one. But if I can get my hands on one, I will. If I get my hands on both of them, even just to do a review, I will show you. But that's it. So hopefully you saw what I meant about the thing, and lucky enough I just pressed up that little bit more to get the to get it. So there we go. Right, imagine, how can I sum up these two scan tools? Well, imagine you're in school and there's always a kid that's good at everything. He's a sporty, he gets all the girls, and he's just, in my eyes, he's a prick because he's brilliant. And then you get the kid in the back that picks his nose and drools and is a fat bastard. So essentially me, and you know, who is always basically stupid. So unfortunately I'm the launch, which isn't great compared to the Autel. Now, so look, yes, it's all down to personal preference at the end of the day. When I'm comparing it to this, this just doesn't stack up. Yes, it works. Yes, it's a scan tool. Yes, it does what it says it does. And it's a lot better than other ones I reviewed from launch. Nowhere near as good as the Diagon though. But when you compare it to this, it just doesn't stack up. So unfortunately, because I'm comparing it to this is why it did quite badly. If it was just a unit on its own, you know, there is a lot of good points about it. Like I said, it doesn't feel cheaply made. You know, the screen is responsive. You know, it does do what it's supposed to do. It does have a lot of vehicles in there, and it can do a lot of resets. None of these, by the way, have bi-directional controls. None of them. So yeah, that's the thing. Unfortunately, when I'm comparing it to this, and I think it's a good comparison because they're both the same screen size. Even though this one looks a lot longer, but the screen is only to there, so it's not all this. And of course, it has the buttons on the side of it, and this doesn't have any buttons. That's why this one's longer. And you can see, you know, it's not that much longer, but it is a bit longer. So it's just unfortunate this is the Bluetooth model, this one isn't. I believe you can get one, but again it's more expensive. So the prices, it was nice to compare them because of the prices were very, very close. Like I said, it's unfair to try and put this up against, you know, like if I was to put this one up against the big Autel, then I could understand everyone shitting on me saying, well, it's unfair, because it would be completely unfair. Just like if I put this up against the big launch, it's completely unfair because they're not in the same price bracket. These are more or less in the same price bracket, aimed at the same type of people. But the big thing is, it's the wire and the wireless. It's a big thing. If you've ever tried to do anything for a car and you're at the engine and you can't see your scan tool, you can't change, you know, a few settings or get some more data PIDs up because, you know, you have to come back inside the car because the lead's not long enough. Once you've used a Bluetooth or wireless one, it's just so much better. So unfortunately, it just got put up against this bad boy. And that's just it. If I put the two big, the new launch 5 looks really good, but then the new Autel Pro, whatever it is, looks unbelievable. The new Autel, this is just brilliant. When you plug it in, you can actually get the CAN signal straight away. You don't need to put a scope. It gets its own CAN signal from the OBD2, and you can see if there's anything skew-whiffy. You don't have to get your scope out, and you can do it through there. Now, to fix the problem, you know, you might have to get your scope out and stuff like that, but just to see the signal, you can see it. So you can disconnect modules to see if the signal comes back on the new Pro, I believe. So yeah, for this particular video, unfortunately, the Autel has won hands down, and I think I've done a good enough job explaining why I think it is. If you think I'm wrong, go out, get both tools, make your own YouTube video, and, you know, tell me what I did wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll leave a comment and I'll say, do you know what, I'm wrong. But I don't think anyone can justify that this is bigger price, it's wired, hasn't got expandable memory, this is cheaper, it's wireless, and it's got expandable memory. And it actually does more in the service settings than this. So if you can justify that properly to me, then fair play. But as always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most importantly, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.